1 second. All right, so it's pretty cool. They're actually, oh well, they're trying to stream it. I see. All right, let me try to make a scoreboard real fast while they're doing that. All right, so we'll do Cornell and oh, they're both red teams. Okay. One second here, you guys. I'm just making a scoreboard. Okay, hold on. Oh, we've got multiple games. All right. And let me add. 1 second here. All right, we're on the right track. So this is round 1. This is the semifinals. No, quarterfinals. So both of these teams so far, I believe, are 3-0 in their division. So really, really strong teams. I believe the winner secures their spot in the finals for D3, so that's pretty good. Okay, so both schools are red, so I'm gonna have to distinguish somehow. Cornell's secondary color is, was it white? Maybe. I don't know. I don't think it really matters too much. Hmm. All right, we're just gonna stick with this. Yeah, break bash. So ASU's B team actually, those two players did not play for their A team at all. So they had players that were stronger, that were lower rated, that were on their A teams. So here, let me add the scoreboard. All right, I think that should be fine. Okay. All right. So what's going on in this game? Oh, hold on. I also need. There's like 2 more players that I need to follow. Okay. All right. We're good to go. What's up, White Noise? Good to see you, and Justin Fink as well. And I'm guessing Break Bash is from maybe Cornell. I'm not sure. I'm also hoping we get Dr. Chess Gremlin in here because I know he's a Cornell fan. You think I should message him? Maybe. I don't know. I don't see that he's on. All right, I sent him a message. All right, cool. Okay. Oh, you're a Rutgers fan. All right, cool. You're salty. Okay. Hold on. Okay, we've got a score here. So, what happened here? This was a pretty fast result. Okay, so bishop pair versus knight pair. You get the light square bishop, trade off a pair of rooks. That's a big c pawn to give up. Oh, and the queen just comes back. So that's 2 pawns. Oh, and there's a knight. Okay. Yeah, so Mahi here from, I believe, Arizona State, getting a point for their... No. Oh, that's their board 1 against board 4. Okay, so that was expected anyways. Let's look at this game. 2 minutes to 40 seconds here, so pretty big time edge for Cornell. Let's see. There's a lot of, space around this king here. This bishop wants to come here and infiltrate on the light square. So there's a couple options here for white. I think actually there's not too many options, huh? You gotta play f3 now, maybe, or yeah, f4. Just making sure the rook is here in time. Now there is a check, and then rook coming in would be really nice. So king over, knight take. Oh, this could be oh, that's looking really close to game over here. If rook up, You could maybe play bishop f3 and then force the... No. So, I mean, now the bishop takes, but then bishop to f3, so now you can take here. King can come here. There's also check here. Not very good for white here. So this is Creek Hair from ASU. This is Rainforest. So this is the board 1 for Cornell. So expected win for Rainforest here. Let's look at this game's also wrapping up. Boom, boom, boo. This is board 2 for Arizona State herein. So let's see. Cornell, this is their board 3. So if Duluth here, Mason can get a point here, that's technically an upset because board 3 is playing their board 2. Both sides very low on the clock. This king's infiltrating. You can't stop the king from f2, and now these pawns become very weak as there's no knight move that protects the base point g2, and now both of these pawns are under attack. You can grab h2, but now maybe white can take a turn grabbing some pawns. Both sides, 16 seconds. Rerouting the knight here. Good dark square control. Hitting the pawn. Black holds on to it. So yeah, this king, it gobbled some pawns, but it might be sidelined here. We've got this pawn hangs with check, and now back to the centralized d4 square. Both base point pawns hanging. Actually, this pawn's protected, but the knight wants to move eventually. So yeah, this king's getting back in the game. f3 is falling. I would just take on f3, and now you take on c6. Okay. So now, no, you can't try that. This pawn's going to be fast. I think maybe the knight should have stayed on d4 to defend on c6. Because these pawns might be too slow. See, you could have taken here, I think, and invested this, perhaps. Maybe not. You just get a queen. Oh, this promotes with check. I would have gotten the queen, but okay. We've got a block. Is this position just drawn? Don't play here. The knight's controlling. Okay. Both sides under 10 seconds. You could block with check. You could have gotten the queens off. There it is. All right, so the king, instead of blocking on f1, blocking on e3. So this is a much better square for the king to be on. And now white's just in a better position here. Up a pawn. Again, fast pawn. Protected by the knight. Now this knight's going to have to swing around to one of these two squares. But the knight's there in time. So now the king's going to try to step in. Definitely favorable for white. We had another result. There's some checks. You just got to go back, I think. Draw offered. Duluth has declined. I can't blame him. Wow, 2100 here. Yeah, the king's coming in. Check. You can step this way. Or box the king out is fine. Here? No. So how are you going to make progress? Ah, here. Knight here. There it is. Yeah, and that pawn's going to be pushing through. So you're going to win the piece, and then you're going to win the pawn on e5, and then you're going to promote. And that's game over. So well done by Duluth here. Board 3 from Cornell. Taking down the board 2. So let's update all these scores before I forget. So here's a point. I think both board 1s won. And I think Mason won Duluth, right? From this game. Yeah. So it looks like we're evened up at 2 apiece here. Yeah, this was the board 1 for Cornell. So we did watch how this ended up going. Interestingly, not going with check there, but I mean, just it's winning regardless. Yeah. All right. This one, did we see? Oh yeah, there's just a dropped piece in this one. This is the board 2 for Cornell. How did this one go? Interesting king position here. That's a really strong bishop on these light squares with all the pawns on dark squares. This king's gonna be caught in no man's land, and I've lost the game. All right, so round 2 is starting. All right, so what are we playing here? E4, E5, Roy Lopez. This is board 1 for Cornell against board 3, the Game Guru from Arizona State. These are both schools' B teams, so this is a D3 matchup. Again, these are the best teams in Division 3 in the Collegiate Chess League. Both schools fighting for a final spot. The winner will get the final spot guaranteed, and the loser has to play another match to get into the finals. So they're guaranteed a semifinal spot. So both teams definitely in good position here in terms of the bracket overall. I should have a command for it actually. D3 perhaps. Yeah, so you guys can check out Division 3 bracket there with that link. So yeah, these are 2 of the remaining 6 teams left out of 16 in the division. And this is not an elimination match. Both teams so far are undefeated. So I believe 3-0. Yeah, so one of these teams is going to go 4-0. And right now they're just knotted up at 2 apiece here. So even match so far, only 1 round in. Alright, so it looks like this knight's going to come back and hit this bishop, get out of this pen without having to play g4. So, yeah, bishop's going to come back, maybe develop our last piece, connect our rooks here for white. This knight, a little sidelined, kind of awkwardly plays, chasing this bishop back, but I think this bishop does well on this diagonal, because eventually we're going to want to push d4, get d4 in, and try to open up some lines towards this black side king. Black's king side. This is a good outpost square, hitting this bishop. Bishop has no moves right here. Also, the bishop also has no moves. So, yeah, white's playing pretty well. You can also just hop this knight in. So, yeah, I think white's plan here, trade off the bishops for these knights, and then push d4 eventually, maybe even f4, open up some lines. So yeah, what this move does, I would have gone with the g file knight, because you'd at least maintain some pressure here. But yeah, this bishop, maybe f8 has been vacated for the bishop to retreat if black wants to hold on to it. But then a move like bishop to g5, threatening to take the knight and double the pawns, the knight's going to have to reroute. So black might have to play a couple retreating moves if you don't just take, and then the other knight captures. And yeah, okay, so giving up the dark square bishop. But, honestly, white probably not in a rush to take at any moment. Maybe we'll see the queen join in. I think there are some really interesting lines from actually Cornell's A-team player, Richard Yee, where he was able to bring the bishop in, and along with the queen, there's some really interesting mating patterns. I believe the king was in the corner, though. Alright, so trying to open up this queen side here. Trying to open up that A file for the rook, but B4 has been played. So now the C file opens up. I think, can you take here and then play bishop to G5, try to induce some weakness? Alright, so now we get the D4 pawn push in. Try and open up the D file. I think black might be fine to just move the rook over to C8, put some pressure on the bishop on C2. Ask the bishop where they're gonna go. Maybe back to B1, but you're gonna give up. Okay. So knight back to C6. It was sidelined here on A5, getting it back towards the center of the board. Maybe applying some pressure onto D4, but we have this knight here guarding as well, but instead just pushing D5, kicking this knight back. Where exactly the knight goes, well, it doesn't have too many options. Back from where it came, or probably just gonna give up a pawn here actually. So take twice, and then maybe the bishop serves well on these dark squares. So that's interesting. But you know, a pawn's a pawn. This pawn's also hanging, so no time to play bishop over. Unless this rook gets trapped, but I don't see it, because you also have C4 as a square. Alright, so now we see rook to C8, and yeah, C2 is definitely hit. You could bring the rook back, but then you'll be hit with bishop G5. There's no blocking. The rook would have to move, and you drop C2. So, I mean, the best move, maybe, I mean, yeah, just move the bishop somewhere. So, we're hitting this pawn, A6. Let me switch over. I've been with this game the whole round. We've got 3 other games here. So, this is Boom Boom Boo, the board 2. 2100 against a 1460 here. This is board 4. So how's he doing? Not too hot. He's down a piece. So that is not too good. How'd you lose a piece? Must have been earlier than this. 2 pieces here. Oh, that's a free piece. Oh, shoot. Yeah, so the knight hops in, that opens up the diagonal for the queen. So this paired with this, maybe a good idea, but that's really unfortunate for this board 4. Otherwise, probably playing a pretty decent game. And oh boy, that looks like a strong check to me. Then you have oh, that's discovered double check. Yeah. Here wins the rook, or that. All right, trying to come in here. Yeah, that's over. Let's look at board 2 for Cornell. This is the board 4 for Arizona State. So, okay, I like White's position a lot. That's a big check to give, and this is a very strong knight infiltrating. I think, you know, a simple rook lift, and you're already threatening mate in 2. That's a pretty good idea that you have to watch out for. Queen takes h7. So, queen hops in, trying to get some defense, but the rook is lost. I mean, you could consider a move like knight f5 maybe? No, okay, so just hopping in on these dark squares. Gonna kick this knight out eventually. Oh, no. So, okay. Super low on the clock, though. This board 4. Hi, Face Chess. Good to see you. All right, mate threat. I think the queen should hop over. No, okay. So rook takes. Yeah, rook takes. You can't take back because then you get mated. So that was not okay. You can double up now in that file, or you could fork the king and queen. Good choice. Yeah, and then that's a discovery. That's game over. All right, let's. Oh, we got. Yeah, we saw what led to that. So. Okay, that was board 2 for Cornell, or ASU, sorry. Got a point. Let's look at... Oh, and looks like this game wrapped up as well. Yeah, that was checkmate. Okay. Let's look at this game. So this is the game we started with. That is a discovery attack. So, and that's threatening a fork. Alright, so looks like black was down a piece. Well, dropped the rook. That's a really unfortunate piece to give up. But now, you know, maybe you're getting a piece back. Nope. I could have sworn. I guess if you push... You know, I really don't know. I don't know. Pushing I thought would be good because you're forking the 2 pieces. You'd at least, you know, get a piece back. But... Alright, what's happening here? Can you just take this? You're dropping the rook. You're dropping the rook. But then there's a fork. Okay, not a fork. A discovery attack. So the rook is protected via x-ray. So, yeah, that drops. Alright, well, looks like Rainforest, board 1 from Cornell is going to win that game, as expected. And now this is board 1 for ASU. So expecting him... Mahendra here to get a point against the board 3 from Cornell. So let's see what's going on in this game. Oh my goodness. Oh yeah, no, that makes sense. White is up a ton of pawns. Black down to the last 2 pawns. That was a mate threat that you had to defend. Alright, kicking this queen out. No time for Duluth here. So, okay, let me look at... Yeah, we got a point here for Cornell. So Cornell is leading 4-3, but I think with this game, it's going to be tied up again at 4. So you can bring this last piece into the game, or just trade off queens. Either way is fine. Both very centralized squares for the queens. You just shake the queen here, trade down, simplify. So many passed pawns, 4 of them. So just support 1, you know, get them running. You can drop this. That's fine. Takes, push. There's no stopping. Rook to d8. So, yep. And now, yeah, I mean, there's so many different ways. There's so many different pawns. This game should be wrapping up pretty soon, but, you know, Duluth not putting... well, not giving up, not giving in, putting up resistance still. Gonna flag though, 2.9 seconds. Not much hope. Yeah, the knights and the pawns are gonna hop in now. Okay, that drops check, but the knight's covering the promoting square d8. Now you can just promote. Black praying for perpetual here, probably. I would have gone with the other rook. Okay, what's going on? Check, king up. Okay. Well, flag wins too. So, yeah, we're all tied up at 4 apiece now. So, after 2 rounds, even after each round. So, we'll see if any team takes the lead here in round 3. We've got 2 games started already. This is board 3 against board 4. Arizona State's board 3, Cornell's board 4. So both teams board 4s with a score of 0 so far. Boards 2 and 3 each have a point each, and the board 1s are flawless. 2 out of 2 so far. So gonna be interesting to see how the rounds start to become, closer to the board matchups that we'd expect. Board 1 versus board 1, 2 versus 2, and so on. So this is the last round before that. So we'll see if board 1 stay flawless. We'll see if board 4s can get a point. This is going to be a tough match for... this is Ben Rosenberg from Cornell. Definitely the lowest rated player out of the 8. But, that being said, when you are the lowest rated player, you kind of have the least amount of pressure, which I think kind of helps in a sense that if you do end up getting points, that's huge for your team. That being said, if you lose all 4 of your games, you never want to do that because then the rest of the team is going to have to carry. But, this is a strong Cornell team. And this has been their B team roster lineup for, I think, the majority of the season so far. So they've definitely done a good job so far in the season. Getting to this point, 3-0. Okay, so what's going on here? We've moved our rook to b8, probably trying to go for a b5 expansion. b5 could have been played regardless, but it is played now. This bishop's going to have to step out. This king got off this diagonal, this dark square diagonal, and now we see f4 from white. So it looks like white's trying to launch a kingside pawn storm, or at least just getting, some pawns in the center. This is a pretty common pawn structure. Might be a dragon. I'm not too smart in terms of my chess openings, but it looks like a dragon to me. Alright, so this knight hops in with the tempo against the queen. The queen was trying to get on that dark square diagonal. You could have gone queen over for potential queen trade. The knight hopping in. This would be a nice centralized square for the knight. So, alright, we got to check. King's going to step back. Straight back. And then maybe try to push forward with the pawns. Try to open things up. Yeah, so we see f5. Taking would be really awkward. You don't want to lose this g-pawn. But at the same time, you don't want to have to, be lined up with this bishop with the pawn on f7 being pinned. So you could see potential discover double checks here. And yeah, I think very wise of white to push this a-pawn, maintain this bishop on this nice long light square diagonal pointing directly at the king. So yeah, this queen and this bishop definitely influencing this king side, even from the queen side over here. Alright, so well, the queen's left this diagonal, but staying on the dark squares, trying to infiltrate another way. Definitely a good plan to trade off the fianchetto bishop. So as you can see here, black is definitely feeling these holes with the absence of their dark square bishop. So gonna try and maneuver some pieces over, perhaps, and support with the defense. Alright, pushing through f6. So you gotta watch out. This is a mate in 2 threat. And this e7 pawn's under attack, so because yeah, you don't really want to play a move like e6 because then that queen just hops in immediately. So yeah, I think you got to take on f6. Intolerable piece. Now the knight can take with check. King steps up. So queen can no longer infiltrate. I think maybe queen h6 could have been played prior to pushing f6. I think f6 is a good plan. Yeah, I mean, queen could come here, and then the knight can give a check. I think this is a really strong idea. Maybe if queen h6 too soon, then maybe knight g4 would have been annoying. But anyways, here, okay, just winning a pawn. Also good. This knight is hanging, so how to deal with that exactly? All right, trying to get a knight trade, but there's also, you know, luckily black has f7 defended sufficiently, because you could take bishop takes and then queen comes in. We have 3 pieces on f7, but there are 3 defenders. So instead of trading knights, I mean, black would love to get a queen on this diagonal now that this knight is here. I think white should have probably traded down, because this is a strong knight, and this bishop now is in time to guard and defend this diagonal. So let's see, can we play here? I would love to play here. You can also take, no, bishop takes, tempo on the queen. Actually, takes. I think, yeah, I think the queen should have gone here before white did. I think Ben might have misplayed this a little bit. He was getting some momentum back, starting with knight to g4, but yeah, I mean, he's kicking the queen around, but yeah, this queen's definitely guarding some crucial dark squares that black should have probably capitalized on. The fact that, well, now he's dropping some pawns. a5 has been dropped once the rook is left. All right, taking with the rook. That's a fork, but you can grab this rook. Actually, yeah, it's gonna be just a rook trade. White has 2 attackers here. So, okay, what's going on? We have to watch out for this check. What's going on here? Check here. Maybe. Well, you know, Game Guru here, only 30 seconds left. Definitely thinking. Oh, I don't know if this is a good check. I think f6 works. f6 should be fine. But then you have queen to e8. But then you just take. I would just play f6. What else? I mean, here's your 2 options. f6, king h6. Then you've got a couple other checks as well. Another thing about king h6 is maybe just simply rook takes, queen takes, and now f7's hanging. So this is an interesting move. Trading off queens here. This knight can come back with tempo. Attacking c2 as well. No, just okay. h6. You know, you really wonder if you meant to play h5 here. The f6 is going to fall, and that's going to be a fork on g6 and the knight. So yeah, g6 is going to fall. And then rook g8 is a big check. So yeah, h6 is going to fall as well. That is a lot of pawns. and you're getting one back, but okay. I would have preferred to trade off there, I think, for white. So barely any time, but the increment should be enough to win, especially with such a centralized, you know, pawn and bishop duo here. This is an anchor, locking this bishop into d5. Best chance for black is some knight fork and trick or something, but I don't think it's there. Let's head over to, this is board 1 against board 2. Let's see how Rainforest is doing here. So far, he's undefeated. Two for two. Both sides, about 20 seconds left. This could... I think this favors black. For sure. I mean, simply just up a pawn. And it's a connected passed pawn. So this bishop does well to guard the base point. Eventually, you're going to have to try to make progress with black by pushing some pawns. This king is denied entrance from the knight, and yeah, you want to get to a5 somehow, but it's really difficult. Yeah, he takes... I like this e4 pawn break because if you take with the bishop, knight takes, and then it's a simple win for black. But this way, you get g4 as well. Because you take with the pawn, and now g4 is hanging. So black played that pretty well, I'd say. Oh yeah, you take that pawn. This bishop is immune because this pawn would be too fast. So now you got to play here. And now you got to bring the king back. It is promoting on a light square. This could just be a draw. But black is definitely favored. So black's going to have to try and figure out how to convert this. The king's here on time. So now the knight is going to have to try to... Yeah, now you can target this. Oh, this is a big check to give. But, you know, if you trade off these pieces and you win the f-pawn... Knight here? No, knight... Okay, well, with check, yeah. I don't know. If you promote and you trade this down, you're going to lose h5, but the king's going to be in time. Oh, wait, what did I miss? Oh, well, it's just an... Hold on. I don't know if... Okay, if you go here, then that's really bad, because you have to leave on this diagonal, and they promote. And they just get a queen for free. So yeah, this is just lost. White's only chance here is stalemate. We missed... Here's Duluth. Duluth won for Cornell. Oh, that's a skewer. That's a whole rook. And that's no time here for Creek Hair. So... Oh, there's a draw here. Okay, hold on. This is the board 2 for Cornell. I mean, I think you could try check, king over, and then... Perhaps it is a draw. But I do like white, although down 2 pawns, so I guess if it's not mating, then white's happy to take the draw there. Okay, let's update some scores. So Duluth here, board 3 for Cornell, getting a 2nd point. So that's good. Rainforest with their first loss. Let's see what happened. Oh, yeah, we saw this. That's what we were watching. Okay, so that's a big point for board 2 from Arizona. And we've got a draw here for board 2 against board 1. All right, so 2.5 here. And 1.5. All right, and then this is the last game. Duluth against Game Group. Wait. Did I miss a game? Shoot, I missed a game. Sometimes when you're observing a game, it just... the game disappears. Okay, let me look up... this is probably... Game Guru. Game Guru lost to the board 4 of Cornell. With checkmate. Oh, we saw this, right? No. This game I missed. That one queen, man, picking up all the pawns. My God. Well, that's a big win for Cornell. They're board 4, springing into action, getting a point on the board. And that's enough for the go-ahead. So 6.5 to 5.5. Cornell's board 1, Rainforest, Alex Lynn, he did get his first loss of the match, but their board 4 got their first. So that kind of evens out. We had a draw on board 2 against board 1. So that's really good here from Mikhail. I think now this should be the yeah, so Cornell taking that first point lead. This is the first lead in the entire match. Let's see if Arizona State has what it takes to come back. They only need to get what, 2.5 out of 4? Yeah, they need 2.5 out of 4 for a tie. But you know, they could very easily go 3-1 for the win. So should be an interesting match. I'm really interested in this board 1 matchup. So okay, these are the board 2s. So Arizona State, they have two 2100s for boards 1 and 2. 2100, 2197. So very strong boards 1 and 2. But Cornell's teams board 1 and 2, they've been resilient. They've been able to show that they can, you know, hang with the rest of them. So 1800 here, board 2 for Cornell, able to get a draw from the board 1. That being said, Cornell's board 1 did just lose to Arizona State's board 2. So we'll see what happens here. Okay, there's a lot of tension here in this position. I think it favors white, though, because you grab with check. So now you have 2 pieces hanging. All right, so hitting the queen, that makes sense. But queen moves, and you're still going to have 2 pieces under fire. What you want, though, is to move the queen, yeah, such that you can't move a piece out of the way. So it looks like black's going to be down a piece here. Grabbed a pawn. Let's check out what went wrong. Yeah, this is awkward. This is the right idea. So yeah, here probably just castle, but then also castle, and you're still forked. So in this position, yeah, this is a Roy Lopez, and I think bishop d6 is just not the move. So it's gonna be 2 pawns for a piece. Still playable. So okay, you're saying in this position, Castle, castle. Yeah, rook e8. You're right. You're right. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe that was the best chance for black there. Rook e8 definitely does pin the pawn to the queen. So, yeah, and then the queen, if the queen leaves, then the pawn's taken. So yeah, maybe black could have survived up a pawn. Instead, though, you know, we've got some potential in this position. Awkward knight on a3. Queen can come in, try to double up the pawns for white here. Yeah, so we've given up a pawn, but at a price. I would have liked to have seen queen over to h4 because it forces a king move, essentially. Or maybe queen here. So let's see how white manages this position. I like the bishop coming over to this king side, offering some support to these pawns that have lost a little bit of their structure. So, you know, extra piece here being put to good use. And yeah, white's gonna be doing well here in this position to try to trade down some rooks. Yeah, I would contest the d file here, or you know, try to take the g file, or both. This is an interesting decision. Okay, so hitting the bishop just gets tucked back, and now maybe like a move like, well, okay, why is this pawn not being taken? Why is that pawn not being taken? That pawn has been taken. All right. Well, okay, the rook's hanging right now, but I would double up and then play h4. But maybe white plays h4 on their own. So at least now white can't contest the d file. But c7 falls. Well, if you take c7, h4 wins the piece back. But then, you know, you could also take here. You could argue it helps your pawn structure, although not really. So h4 has been invested. And now, yeah, I don't see many follow-ups. Maybe you just go all out with g5. And then the rook can come over to the g file. Okay. Hitting f3. I feel like you could take here. c7. Interesting. Okay, so doubling up on the c file. I'm totally grabbing this pawn. So now, I mean, you gotta watch out for these kind of moves. There is always e6 ideas that, you know, open up the queen's diagonal to offer some sort of support, but yeah, I like the idea of like rook to d3 and then rook to d4, take here and threatening. I don't know. Okay, so we do see g5, but I think rook to g1 was the response. I like rook to g1. Do we already have the board 3s finished? Wow, Duluth popping off in these last 2 rounds here. Big fork. Oh my goodness. Double fork. Dude, this monster knight. What a sequence here from the board 3 of Cornell. Rook takes. Bishop takes. So this was not a pawn to take. I mean, maybe take with the bishop. But my goodness. Huge fork. Hitting the queen. Queen moves. Queen to a8. Discover checks. Coming in. This is all forced. King f6. And knight to d5. Lights out. Big point from board 3. So Duluth here going 3 out of 4. Maintaining that big lead that they got going in. I mean, it wasn't a big lead, but you know, a lead's a lead. Let's see what happened here. 30 seconds left on the clock. Trying to defend here on the C file. That's pretty interesting. Now, okay, what's happening here? Hitting the queen, there's always this check to give. And this bishop could become the game, you know, the difference maker on f6. Because I feel like you could even take here, you know, hang your queen, and then get some rook on h8 mating ideas. So what exactly is going on here? Where's this queen going to go? It's going down. All right, so looking for mate. You got to do something. You could take and take. I think you got to go for that. No, that's a free. Actually, bishop takes, queen takes. Okay. You can play here and take here. It's such a complicated position, but unfortunately Rainforest has 9 seconds. I think Mahi really needs to get a point here if they have any chance of coming back. There are 3 games left. They're down by 2 points, so they need 2 out of 3 here. Let's look at this game. Cornell, 8 seconds left. Down a piece. So this is going to be a win on board 2 for Arizona State. Let's look at these are the board 4s here. There's some checks. This rook might have to come back to defend. Yeah, and black is always going to have some really good mating ideas in a position like this. So this is a very strong rook here. I think Arizona State might tie this matchup. If this turns out to be a draw, I think black should play rook. I think, can white claim the draw here? I mean, after this check, is that going to be repetition? Threefold? This is the board 4 for Cornell. Does he realize the score? This is the board 2s. This is a threat. You can play this check, and if you block, h5 on the board, rook's going to go down, and Mikhail's going to go down here. So board 2 points. What happened here? This is the board 1. Board 1 here, Rainforest. What did they end up going for? So queen takes, rook takes, 2 rooks for the queen, blocking here. We do see that bishop on f6, and just self-mating with a move like h4. Unbelievable. So, okay. Oh, and we got a draw here. Wait, so that's conclusive. Wait. This is a point for their board 2. They got a point here. I think it's a draw. I think they went 2.5 to 1.5. point, and then a half a point each. Yeah, I don't know if board 4 Ben from Cornell realized. I don't know if he knew that it was this close. So they ended up tying the match here. So this, well, I don't know. I feel like black maybe for them. So the position says it's completely drawn. I'll just say that. This, though, favors black for sure. So this is the draw. What's needed here is rook f7, and it's minus 4.8 for black. So Arizona State could have had the come from behind win if they went on. So okay, yeah, we're going to tie breaks here. So tie break rules, it's the same as round 4. So board 1 versus board 1, all the way down to board 4 versus board 4. You switch colors. So whatever you had here in this 4th round, you switch colors. So here, board 4 for Cornell had white, and the tie break he's gonna have black. So that's true for all 4 boards. You switch the colors, and instead of a 5-2 time control, it's 3-0, so no increment. So both these teams, 3-0, undefeated so far, taking it to tiebreak to determine who gets to go to the finals. But yeah, black definitely favored here. I mean, this definitely an exposed king, but this, I think a move like b5, drop the pawn, or even just queen in. This king has a lot more weaknesses than this king, because there's only one attacker. This is like one of the key differences. As opposed to black, you have a lot of attackers, right? So, all right. Here we've got, these are the board 2s going at it. So, Mikhail lost the first game. We'll see if Mikhail can get some revenge here. So, yeah, first team to 2.5 points in the tie breaks wins. If it's still tied 2-2, then you go to second tie breaks. So then they switch colors again, and instead of 3-0, it's 1-0. It's just straight up bullet. And Mikhail, very poor internet connection here. This could be devastating for Cornell. He's given up a lot of time here, and he's not going to get any of it back. All right, he's back. So he's going to have to play really fast. Oh, he's lost again. Well, that is unfortunate. This is the only game that started in this 5th round. He's playing on. This is tough. He's giving him time odds. We've got the board 3s started. He's got to play fast. He's down a minute. All right, he's closing things on the king side. Black's trying to get a pawn break in the center. Maybe also going to close things down here. No, just trading. So you got to take with the pawn, because if you take with the knight, you're going to drop e4. So now maybe this is a weakness. Yeah, the knight's moving, opening up the diagonal for the bishop. So how exactly do you defend f5? If you try to defend this way, you're going to get it. Wait. Maybe bishop d3. Because I was thinking like a fork perhaps. Although you do drop d5 is the problem. All right, so I wonder if you can take here and get this bishop check in. Queen take. No, because then you drop back. Okay. All right, not castling kingside, just going all out here, g4. I feel like bishop here is a good move. If knight takes, and then this bishop's going to come in. Maybe not. I'm trying to think of ways where black can just open up this kingside. I mean, still not castled. This queen's going to have to go up, and he's going to have to go long. Looks like that's the plan here for Mikhail. And now the knight hops in. So if you take, you're definitely losing d5. Actually, maybe you can play c4, but I think knight takes, bishop takes would be annoying. You lose a pawn at least. All right, so we do see this capture. I don't think you can play c4 here. Okay, castles, but d5 falls, and he's got 20 seconds. So I think that's going to be a wrap for this game. Got to move this rook. Okay, take here, and then bishop here. Should be lights out. Didn't see it. Okay. Knight takes. Yeah. This knight's a sitting duck. The queen's now a sitting duck because it's going to be pinned. This is also really bad. If everything wins for black. That was a tough game. Not even... Okay. Okay. Let's look at another game. This is the board threes here. So what's going on? We've got some tension here in the center with the pawns. F7 is under attack, so that needs to be defended. This is priority number 1. Maybe move like queen to... Okay. Queen to f6. b7's hanging. I think queen takes b7 is a possible move here. And it's been played. So I think, can we take here? But that invites a rook into the... I don't know if we want to invite the rook into the equation here. Rook f4 looks like a pretty strong move. Maybe a move like rook e7 is needed. Rook e7 or queen e7. I think technically you can take here, because if knight takes, it's pinned to the rook. No, I think rook f4 should be lights out. So you're not protecting f4. You can take the knight, queen. No, actually you can't. The rook's defending. Yeah, f7's gonna be a goner. Maybe like, well, I honestly, okay, take the queen, or that is fine. Now take the queen. I would have liked, I think rook takes better. Okay, now this is really strong. Bishop here, lights out. Lights out. You gotta play here. Oh, that's dirty. That's a smooth move from board 3. You can play rook takes. Yeah. Oh my god. So yeah, queen f5. Definitely overlooking the rook f4 move. So Cornell's gonna need 2 points in these last 2 games. I mean, okay, 4 seconds here. 2 seconds. There's 1 point. It's all down to this last point. So there's board 4 gets a point. But we've got a point here and here. So boards 3 and 2 for Arizona State. Getting points on the board. Arizona State's board 4 had a chance to clinch the match, both in rounds 4 and here in round 5. Now it's down to this last game. So 40 seconds to a minute. Board's 1. Board 1's going at it. Black initially looks better to me with this D pawn. It is isolated. Oh, what's going on? What is going on? Given a check, so knight can take, knight retakes, and then we can trade off some rooks. But d4 could be weak. So do you take here first? No. I would take on c1. Rook takes c1. And then rook takes. This could just come down to a time burn here. 30 seconds to 20 seconds. This is for the point. This is for the match. Rainforest needs a win here. 24 to 20. You gotta play fast. Hitting the pawn, king up, or okay, that defends definitely. Step the king in. There's discoveries. The knight's gonna have to come back. Maybe rook up. No, everything's defended. You gotta play fast. You can't think now, because that's too much time. Oh, he's gonna flag. He's gonna lose. He's too slow. Unless Mahi can really think. No, that's it. That's it. Arizona State pulls off the win here. So there will not be a second tiebreak. All right, so let's update this last score. That is a point for Mahi. So 11 to 9 final score. Arizona State guaranteeing a spot in the finals. Cornell, though, not out yet. They still have a chance to get in the finals. They are guaranteed a spot in the semifinals. So that should be the April 11th, April 12th weekend. So mark your calendars. It's gonna be exciting. Let's see who's Cornell probably gonna face. We can look at the schedule. Okay, so probably later this weekend, Rutgers is gonna play Florida State, and MIT is gonna play Purdue, and this is in Division 3. So the winners of those two matches will then play each other, and then whoever wins from that match will go on to play Cornell. So Cornell could beat the winner between those four teams, MIT and Purdue's B teams, and Rutgers and Florida State's A teams. So lots of good teams left. So Cornell's got their work cut out ahead of them. But if they win that match, they're going to be playing Arizona State again. So that would be a really good rematch, because this was definitely a very close match. It went to tiebreak. So, yeah, Arizona State, definitely one of the strongest D3 teams, undefeated. Cornell with their first loss, but not over yet. They've got a chance to come back. So, yeah, that was pretty good. That was pretty good.